Your hosts are here, Sammie and Michelle. By the end of this podcast, you'll know them well. Adulting, navigating the journey of life. Careers to relationships, pain and strife. Put down the rule book, rethink the status quo. If there's another direction you wanna go, find purpose, passion and mastery in all that you do with Status Post Adulting.
Hey, Status Post Adulting fam! This is Sammie
and Michelle,
and you're listening to the 50th episode of Status Post Adulting, where we're going to be talking about dating apps. But first, let me check in with my co-host Michelle. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing well, Sammie. Had a great birthday weekend. Hung out with the family, hung out with one of my friends. We did a girls' day, met some cool people. Overall, just had a really, really great weekend. Plus, I learned a new skill. My friend Suhaila taught me how to thread my upper lip hair, my mustache, this old thing, and I'm very grateful for that. We moved to the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure who's going to do it for me, and it's about time I figured it out for myself.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be threading the whole town.
Amen. Everybody's going to have zero hair on their face, and maybe I can get to the eyebrow at some point. We'll see. That's a skill set on its own.
Less than 20,000 people live there, but all of their eyebrows are on fleek.
That's what we're hoping for. What about you, Sammie? How are you doing?
Oh, I am doing good. I have been, once again, enjoying my time continuing to be off and getting to exercise. Today I went to Cycle Bar and it was quite packed because it is after the new year. And tons of people were in the class and she played Eye of the Tiger. And let me tell you, that room got litty.
Ooh.
People were feeling it because, yeah, we're the beginning part of that movie montage right now. So it was good overall.
There are certain songs that just hit at the right moment when you're in a class like that. Eye of the Tiger is one of them. And for me, Indian Summer by Jay Wolf. It gets me so hyped up. It's like this building chorus. And especially when you're, what is it called? Like your runner's high kicks in. You're like, yes, I can do this. I can do anything. And I just love that. Like there are certain songs that just gets me.
Oh my gosh, you know what? This is the best moment ever. But one time I was doing a spin class and the person played Jolene by Dolly Parton, like the remix version. And that's literally my running song. And I'm like, I thought I was the only one, but it was the best cycle song ever. Like, it was so good.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. I don't know if I know the remix, actually.
It's just like the same song, but with a little bit more like techno beat in the background.
I guess like normal Jolene is probably like not as great of a normal cycling song. I'm not sure.
It's like the ultimate like revenge body song, you know? Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Jolene will steal your man if you do not run faster.
I'm begging Jolene, don't take him.
Whatever your motivation is, Sammie, I support it. I actually really like to listen to David Bowie's Space Odyssey.
Yes.
And I don't know, for me, the thought of being trapped in space, I'm like, oh my God, it's like 3, 2, 1. It just like has the best like countdown and stuff. And then you're just wrapped up in this story about this astronaut where like something goes wrong and it's great. I love throwing oldies into my running playlist.
So true. And if you're looking for other people who love throwing oldies into their running playlist, you should check out dating apps, which is what me and Michelle are going to be talking about today. Today, the day we are recording is actually called Dating Sunday.
Dating Sunday, Single Sunday. It's the first Sunday after New Year's. Statistically, is the most downloaded, most action is happening on dating apps. Tinder, Match, Plenty of Fish, all of these websites have reported it historically. And so we figured we'd talk about that a little today because it kind of makes sense that it would fall now. I don't think people really know what people's motivation is.
Yes, Michelle, and I personally have a theory.
Tell me.
Yes, of course, there's a New Year's resolution, but I was, walking around the stores, maybe the grocery stores and stuff, and I see that now that New Year's is gone, they have started putting up the Valentine's Day stuff, and I'm like, well, crap, I need to get me a Valentine's Day boo. Unless I want to be receiving nothing on Valentine's Day.
Wow, we've had such different relationship experiences. I'm always like, I don't want another disappointing Valentine's Day. I am the only person that can satisfy myself.
I'll get you something.
But Sammie, you are exactly right. We figured it'd be a fun topic to talk about, whether you've been thinking about hopping on the dating apps, whether you're just wondering what the heck your friends are doing in this crazy technological world, and share our perspective from what we found that works, hoping some of it is universal, or if you have tips or tricks, let us know too. Ya girls are still single, so maybe we could use some help.
And that brings me to our next point. Y'all might be wondering, these girls are single, and what do they know about dating apps?
They probably just rely on their good luck.
Good point.
Those podcasting faces.
We are single, but we have been on the dating apps a lot. And we have been on quite a few dates. Honestly, probably hundreds. Don't judge.
Some of us more than others, I guess.
I was accumulating us.
Right.
Like, I was like doing both of us together, like accumulative.
Like an 80-20.
It's only because Michelle started later, okay? But we have been on the dating apps, and we personally both actually think they're great. I think a lot of it is about knowing how to utilize the dating app, but we know that there's a lot of hesitation towards dating apps. You hear a lot of people say, oh, I miss dating in the old days, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you, as somebody who was dating in the olden days, I initially started out my dating life with all the IRL dating, and then it transitioned into online app dating. And I will tell you, back in the day, I used to go up to people and say things like, hey, fine fella, you want to take this girl on a date? And then I would exchange my number with them and then go on dates. And I would keep track of these dates via my mom, who would help, remember all the names and the biodata, like the information about all these dudes, so that I could keep my story straight. Like, not my story straight, but keep their stories straight while I was in the dating phase. And then the apps came out, and I personally thought, you know what? I don't need an app to help me. My goodness, I was wrong. That took things to another level. A great thing about the apps is you can meet people you would never meet in your life. For example, me, I like to do girly things. I love Kim Kardashian. The type of people I meet in my daily life are not the type of people that I necessarily want to go on a date with.
Yeah, Sammie, I agree. People always recommend, which I think is great advice, that you should go and do things to meet new people. And especially if you want to date, it's good to put yourself out there and do the things that you like to do so you can meet people. And I just like to do really girly, feminine activities. I'm not saying men can't do these things, but there weren't a lot of guys in my soul cycle class. There weren't a lot of guys in my yoga class. There weren't a lot of guys in my hip hop class. These were very female dominated spaces. And so I enjoyed being able to branch out. And also, I love to meet people outside of my circle. I think it's so fun to meet people who do different jobs than you do, that are different types of people in so many different ways. Like, it really diversifies the type of people that you expose yourself to. And I really love that about dating apps as well.
Never have we met so many people who listen to the band Fish, which we previously had never heard of.
Yes.
But apparently, we need to stalk them because that's our type.
I know. One day I was talking to Sammie and I was like, have you heard of Fish? I think we need to go to some of their concerts. And she was like listening to their music and she's like, why? And I'm like, I think a clean Fish fan is what I'm looking for. No offense to the people who listen to Fish.
It's a compliment.
It is a compliment. Once again, though, instead of having to go to a concert, I can just go online. I've met so many different types of people who have different type of interests, who come from different places than me. So overall, we're down for it. We recommend it. There's just so many different apps for different types of people and different websites that if there's something specific you're looking for, the technology out there might exist to match you with your soulmate.
It's so true, Michelle. If you're looking for Indian people, Jewish people, if you're looking for people who are into financial independence, yes, there is a dating app for that. If you're looking for people who are into meditation, there's a dating app for that. If you're looking for people who are elite, there's a dating app for that. Nobody understands that. The League, calling you out. But yes, there's a dating app for that. There is a dating app for all kinds of specific niches and also the general dating apps as well.
There's definitely dating apps for different races, different sexualities, different interests. I'm sure there are things that we don't even know about that people, dog lovers, cat lovers. I saw that on Shark Tank. So you can definitely niche down if you want. Personally, I think all apps have their own advantages.
So true, Michelle. Some of the more common dating apps, technically Grindr was first. Tinder came after that. And, I know in the past, maybe 3 to 4 years, Tinder has had more of a reputation of being a hookup app. But I will say I tried it in the past year. I met a wonderful convict. Yes, he was an ex-convict, but he was a really great guy. And honestly, I was meeting quite a few like great people at that time. So I think Tinder's also come around, especially with the pandemic. There's also Bumble, which is a little bit more female friendly. Met a ton of great people on there as well. Both of those are like swipe-based apps. So those are like the typical like swipe left or swipe right type app. If you're looking for something that's different than that, there's Hinge, which is a little different. You can actually like different parts of people's profile, like their photos or their like information in the profile. So that's pretty cool.
You can leave voice notes now on Hinge.
You can leave voice notes. And I will tell you, there was one gentleman. I can immediately tell he was super pretentious because it's just like, every time I go to a new city, one thing I absolutely love to do is check out the local coffee shop or the local bistro, talk to the barista, and see what is her favorite place for a croissant in the city. Just like going on about this. And apparently he like journals this and everything, and I was like, wow. But you know what? If that's your type, you be hopping on that, you know?
I'm not gonna lie, Sam. That kind of sounds like your type. Pretentious, speaks annoying.
I thought about it, but then I thought, nah, this too much work. But yeah, so they have voice notes on there too. There's also Plenty of Fish, where an abnormally high percentage of our friends have found their literal spouse.
No, listen to this, because Sammy's right. We were at Sammy's 30th birthday party pre-pandemic. We got a bunch of our gal friends together from different parts of our life. And all of a sudden, it was literally like every person in a relationship, engaged, married, spanning like a decade, had found their significant other on Plenty of Fish, which I hadn't even known that anybody was using. And like they had friends, like we can probably list like 5 people at this point who have met their significant other on Plenty of Fish.
At least.
I haven't done it myself, but they got a website, they got an app. Personal data point, I would say most successful application.
Another app that people have had huge success with as far as long-term relationships is Match. I've had a lot of people say that they found their partner on Match as well.
And you've liked OkCupid too, right?
Yeah, I had some great experiences on OkCupid. OkCupid, you fill out this like a fairly long questionnaire and it will tell you like the amount percentage that you match with people. So that's really cool as well.
I will say that's one of the advantages of some of these OG websites / apps like an OkCupid, a Match, probably eHarmony versus like a swipe right, swipe left. I think they do give you a little bit more of like an in-depth look at people and their interests versus being like, you're hot and we both listen to Coldplay.
Lord knows you don't need 2 Coldplay listeners together. So I know when I first got on the dating apps, it was actually my friends who kind of forced me to do it. They actually made the whole profile and everything for me. And I know people are pretty intimidated with making a profile, putting your photos on there. It can just feel really like putting a magnifying glass on yourself. But Michelle and I wanted to go through some tips for making a profile and choosing photos for your dating app.
Yeah, Sammy, someone once told me that sharing your dating app profile with somebody is like one of the most vulnerable things that you can do. Obviously hyperbolic, but it does feel like that. You're kind of saying like, these are the photos that I think I look good in, and these are the things that I'm saying that I think are funny. And I also felt a little insecure going into apps. Similar to you, Sammy, I was reflecting, and literally both times I had gone on the apps, I had been like drunk with my girlfriends and they were like, do it! And I was like, yeah! And then here I am online meeting people. So whatever it is that gets you there, we figured we'd share some things that we think might be helpful too.
Yes. Let's start with the photos. I think one big thing is you should definitely have a photo where you are smiling at the camera, showing your teeth. I know it sounds like an odd thing, but a lot of people, like a lot of profiles I'll go through, it's like all like stoic or angry faces. And from at least a female perspective going on a dating app, you're trying to make sure nobody's going to murder you. And when you don't see people smiling at the profile, it's a little scary. You're like, I don't know about that.
Put on your best, I'm not going to kill you face.
And even if you don't have great teeth, it's good to just show the teeth because people are worried that those teeth are like all stained black or something obscene because why aren't you showing your teeth? So even if they're not the best teeth in the world, smile with your teeth. It's friendly, it's disarming, and it immediately makes someone feel comfortable looking at your photo.
I agree, Sammy. I would also say choose good photos in general. This might seem obvious to you, but it's not. for all genders, I have looked at friends' profiles and I look at my beautiful friend and I look at their pictures and I'm like, why did you choose these photos? People have different reasons. Someone told me once, they're like, I don't want to be catfishing anyone. I'm like, this anti-cat. It was like her in like sweats and stuff.
This is reverse catfish.
And I've had friends too where they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, why'd you choose this photo? And they're like, oh, it has a truck in it. And I'm like, you don't even drive a truck. And it's a terrible photo of you. Like, make sure you're choosing photos that you actually look good. If you're not sure, ask your friends, ideally somebody who is interested in your gender. So that's, I would say, definitely don't be ashamed. Like, pick your good photos. I will admit, because it is kind of hard to like go through all my Google photos and find pictures of myself, I've actually started keeping an album of dating app photos.
She does have this.
Now it spans back like 3 years, but every time I have like a good photo of like just myself, of me doing an activity or something like that, I put it in this dating app album. And if I download an app, I have like a bunch to choose from and I don't really have that decision fatigue. And what's even better is honestly, a lot of times I just pull up that album when I want to feel good about myself. And I'm like, girl, you look good.
Those photos of you do look good, Michelle. I look at them and I'm like, wow, look at my beautiful sister.
Right, exactly. Every now and then, ask your friend to take a photo of you. If you're doing something fun, be a little bit vulnerable and be like, hey, like, can you snap a picture of me? Maybe you don't have a ton of pictures by yourself. I think that's totally fair. And I love that you're living in the moment. But yeah, feel free to like ask a friend, like, hey, like, can you take a photo of me doing this super cool thing so that I can get some peeps with it?
So true. Or you can also be like Michelle at other times where she sets a timer and takes a photo.
It's not only for dating apps, but yeah, sometimes I'm feeling myself and I live alone in a city by myself, like I did during the pandemic in Austin. And I just set a timer when I was on a hike by myself and did a little photo shoot.
Another point, Michelle, is yes, photos alone are good. Not all of them have to be alone, but it should be obvious which one is you when people look at your dating profile. Another big one, which you think would be obvious, is make sure your face is showing. I had this friend who is very, very handsome. That's his top quality. I mean, no, he has a great personality too, but definitely his looks are good. And he was frustrated because he was not getting hits on the dating app. And I looked at his profile picture and it was him in all scuba gear. That was the first photo. I'm like, people are going to think you're probably hideous because why would you cover up your whole body? So yeah, I found this photo of him looking really good, professional, in his white coat. I'm like, this is what people want to see, my friend. Put it out there. Immediately, his matches went up. So you're welcome.
You know, honestly, if you're listening and you need a dating app makeover, shoot Sam and I a text. We got opinions. We're here to help.
Yeah, we would love to help. It's actually really fun for us. And I feel like we have great tips. Also, don't put a random photo of an animal or something that you think is funny.
Like instead of your photo, you mean?
Yeah, instead of your photo. One of my friends, he puts up a photo of a monkey. And he thinks he's being funny. I'm like, nobody is going to swipe on that. You could be a killer. Like, nobody knows your story, you know? Like, bring up the monkey photo later, but not in the beginning.
No, don't bring up the monkey photo at all. Don't waste one of your precious 6 photos on a stock photo of an animal.
It's so true, Michelle. The next part of the dating app or profile, Michelle, is the bio. The bio, biography, biodata, whatever you want to call it, can be extremely vulnerable. And, you know, you don't have to be too crazy with it. For me, personally, I just put a list of my attributes. And I know it's a little odd, but I think it's an accurate reflection of myself. I'm brief, to the point, and I like to do things in like an efficient manner. So I think it also kind of describes my personality. So my profile is literally like adorable, small, funny.
None of those things are personality traits.
I have some personality traits in there. I forgot what they were. But it was literally just like a list. That matched my personality. On other apps, I've been like, hey, I'm from blah, 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 and I'm interested in blah, 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 blah. The one thing I would recommend not doing, the one thing where people really can kind of go wrong, is when they have a giant list of what they're looking for in a partner. I literally hate seeing that. They'll be like, my name is blah, 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 and I'm looking for a girl who is quiet yet confident and likes to cook and relaxes, but also can chill. And like they go on and on and on. And then that's when you start looking at their profile picture and like,
who are you?
when did you think you could put up all these requests?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to be like, hey, I'm looking for a serious relationship. Those kind of things I think are perfectly okay if that's what you're interested in, just being clear about that kind of thing from the beginning. But a like laundry list of attributes that you're looking for, like save that for the first date.
I love the mentality that they just expect somebody to be like cute, funny, confident, excited, loves to hang, loves to chill, da-da-da, check, 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 check. It's me. I feel those qualities.
Imagine somebody looking at it being like, quiet but confident? I don't know. I don't know if I can really meet his expectations.
It's true. And I think a lot of people are guilty of this. Like, it's definitely a faux pas I see across the board. So it just, I think, puts people off. It puts me off.
Another thing I don't like to see is when people speak negatively about the fact that they're on dating apps.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, 10 years ago when I first got on dating apps, maybe the first time I saw that it was kind of humorous. Now, it's just like, it gets old and it also seems self-deprecating. So if you're like,
back on the app, or not sure why I'm trying this again.
Or like, how am I doing while I'm on a dating app? What do you think? Or...
But I'm like, I don't think lowly of myself for being on it. Like, so you're just kind of insulting both of us. Like, we're both here.
Or they'll be like, oh, we can get together and we never have to tell anybody that we met on a dating app. Or I'll help you create a story of how we met. And I'm like, you're already trying to decrease my integrity? Okay, no. Like, I'm not going to lie to people. Okay, I'm going to be my fully authentic self.
I will also say there that it is good to be authentic to yourself and also be very aware of the energy that you're putting out. I mean that to be positive. I mean that to be really putting out what you want to bring back in. I will say I like to joke sometimes that I'm a conspiracy theorist, which I thought was funny. And this is first off, this is before this whole QAnon thing. I then went on a date with a conspiracy theorist, and I had to look at myself and be like, you know what? You thought you were being funny. And now here we are talking about how COVID really started. And so just know, like, I think it's good to be funny, obviously, but that taught me that, like, you have to be kind of like balance what's like kind of humorous. Like, things like a sarcastic humor or like a dry humor can sometimes come off wrong or pull in the opposite type of the person that you want to bring into your life.
Yes, it is so true, Michelle. It's funny how like you'll put like one little thing that you don't think is a big thing, and then you'll attract this like niche group of people who are super into it, but like in a not the way you were expecting. So watch out for that as well.
Amen.
I think overall, Michelle, when creating the profile, genuinely describe yourself and think about like what you like to do in your free time. Like when you're not working, what do you like to do? And put that in your profile because that really gives people a sense of like the type of person that you are.
Yeah, I agree. I think when it comes to your bio, your profile, whether you're filling out like questions and stuff, the biggest thing is like people want to A, get an idea of who you are, and B, people also want to be able to respond to something. Because I've like seen profiles before where maybe the people put their photos and they don't really answer the questions, or they give really like stupid generic answers that like, you know, they didn't try at all. And it's so hard to initiate a conversation because, oh, what am I just supposed to say? Like, you look good. And they're not like doing anything in their pictures. Just so hard to like try to comment on something. And so I think that's something to be cognizant about.
So you've created your profile, you've created your bio, your photos, and now let's say you get a match. We actually have some tips on those first interactions with this new match that can help you get to solid dates with people that you actually want to talk to.
I think one of the best things to do is actually reach out ASAP. I think timing is so important on an app. Your photo is going to get buried. That person's going to forget about you. They moved on. Like this is a world in like dating culture where there are a lot of options. And so you might be like, oh, I want to think of the perfect message, or oh, I want to wait until they reach out to me first, or like, oh, I'll just do this later. But I think like as soon as you get someone, like try to find something clever to say and then boom, like shoot them a message. I mean, I've used Bumble a lot. So like when it's like women and men, like the women have to reach out first, which I personally do like, but I've never seen a disadvantage to it.
Totally, Michelle. I think that first reach out can really set you apart. Yes, of course, you can just say, hey, but if you find something within their profile or just find something quirky or like a cheesy pickup line to say, I think people like immediately recognize you as unique or like you immediately distinguish yourself.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had matched with someone. It was actually this ex-convict. He is very handsome. On Tinder, and then I had deleted the app for some reason, and I think unmatched him. But then we matched again, and I messaged him and I was like, if I had a nickel for every time we matched, I would have 10 cents.
Hilarious, yeah.
Thanks. Took him a little bit to get it. But when he did, he thought it was hilarious. And we did go on a date, so success. But yeah, I think if you can think of like even just like a cheesy pickup line, if it's something related to their profile, even better. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, it says they like cows. Then I'll go look up cow pickup lines and I'll send one of those to them. It's just an easy way to make yourself distinguished and immediately start with something to talk about.
Yeah, Sammie, I agree. I think so many people only say hey or only show like a waving hand. So if you do try and comment or connect it to their profile, I find that there's a much higher success rate for me with people responding back. Like they really appreciate that you took the time to think of something unique for them. I do some of the same things. A lot of times I'll like try to make a funny joke or pun off of like their photos. Puns kill. One time I matched with a guy who is a dog walker, and like in one of his photos he had him and a bunch of dogs, and so I commented, oh, I see you surround yourself with a bunch of
Yeah, derogatory terms towards females, if that's your way to go. You know, whatever gets you to that date is
It's a term for dogs, okay? And it was hilarious. But I also, a lot of times, like something I'll do is if they have like, their bio is set up in like a very specific way, I'll copy the bio but put my own info. So for example, if yours said adorable, small, funny, this is difficult because we're the same. Mine, I would put like cute, hilarious. I don't know, like something. I think this example is failing. It'll be like, they'll be like, I love hiking and going on trips, and I'm 6'2", and I, you know, close the lights at night to see the stars. And I'll be like, I love cycling and going on trips, and I'm 5'1", and I love sleeping at night and whatever. People love it. People, you just like mirror yourself back to them. 10 out of 10. Honestly, I think if you try to do something, a lot of times you're more likely to get a result. And I will say, if it's more specific to their profile or something to them, you're even more likely to get a response.
That is so true, Michelle. And that part you said about mirroring, people love to see themselves in other people. Another great thing, which seems obvious, but definitely, you know, you like their profile, you like their bio, you're messaging them, give them a compliment. You know, you can't throw all the love languages at them from just a small chat encounter on a dating profile, but don't you miss your opportunity to do words of affirmation. Always, like, I'm always like, you know, whatever positive feature that you genuinely think they have, compliment it. I hate, like, getting a hey, and then, like, the date is set up, and then they like, never complimented me. I'm like, do they even like me? Like, why have I not heard a single compliment yet?
Yes, it's surprising how well someone commenting and being like, great smile, beautiful eyes, love your shoes. I'm like, dang, thank you. Yes, I'm here for it. I put a lot of money into these shoes. Thank you for noticing. It's like, you don't have to be that creative, but who doesn't like a little bit of flattery? And I would like to say, I'm not sure if you listeners are familiar with the term negging. It means to put someone down, be negative, say something mean. And there's this idea out there that if you are like mean to people, sometimes it like makes you more attractive. And the reason I say this is like sometimes people like try to neg you on apps. Like they're like
maybe they'll be like, oh, you like Atlas Shrugged? You must be a capitalist pig. Are we trying to go on a date? Or like you're just trying to like really insult me? And I think the idea behind this, I've seen pickup artists be like, the girl will be like, that's so rude. And then you'll start a flirty conversation. No, I don't respond to those people. Maybe someone who hates themselves is talking back to that person. No, I don't. Just don't be that person. That's so rude.
You know, I IRL went on a date once and I met with a guy who...
For those of you who don't know, IRL means in real life.
Yeah, I met someone in real life who now I realize the basis of our relationship was he was negging me. And like at first I thought it was like kind of funny. And like by our third date, it was like if I said the sky was blue, he'd be like, no, that's nitrogen, you dumb girl. It's just very argumentative. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to be with this kind of person. It's so tiring.
So true, Michelle. And speaking of things that are tiring, Michelle, back and forth conversation via chat on dating app. It's my philosophy and also Michelle's philosophy that you should try to get to a date at ASAP. Whether that is a date in real person, or if you're not comfortable with it, a date over the phone or by FaceTime, you want to land the date. You don't want to be chatting with someone over an app because the truth is, you kind of don't know someone that well by just talking to them. It's amazing how much information we get from visually seeing someone. Like we just can actually pick up a lot about their personality and their characteristics by seeing the way they speak, seeing the way they interact, seeing the way they interact with even like wait staff and things like that. You just get a really better idea of who someone is than if you text them. For example, when I was living in Tennessee, I was messaging this guy and he was so hilarious. Like literally I was LOLing at so many of these messages and I was like, man, this guy, I just like was so excited for the date because I'm like, I think we're going to really get along. I get to the date, he looks like his photo. It's not like I got catfished or anything like that, but his energy was completely different. It was almost like somebody else was messaging me. So whatever sneaky way you can do it, a lot of times I'll be like, maybe we can discuss that more over a coffee. Whatever way you want to do it, initiate the date as soon as possible.
I agree, Sammie. But I've met a ton of people who are better in person, quite frankly. I think I read people well, but I cannot read people over text.
So takeaways for this episode, Michelle. 1, try out the apps. If you've been hesitant, if you've been feeling like that's a bit too vulnerable, get on there, make a basic profile, put up some profile pictures, and put yourself out there. Try it before you knock it.
Exactly, Sammie. Like we said, there's something for everybody. So you can use the generic apps or you can use something very specific to who you are and could really meet some awesome people.
2, I would say make sure you have a photo of yourself that looks good where you are smiling with your teeth showing.
Agreed, Sammie.
For your bio, make sure it accurately describes you, stay positive, and do not put out a laundry list of things that you are looking for in a partner. And the last piece of advice is make sure you communicate with someone early with something unique and try to close the date as soon as possible.
Try to close the date within a reasonable period of time.
Yeah, not like within like 5 sentences, although if you do, that's great.
Hi, come over.
Yeah, just kidding. That could go wrong. But I will say like a lot of the dates that I've been on are because people are like, hey, how are you doing? I like your smile. Thank you. I'd love to like meet with you for this. Those are the people who are always getting the dates because they are diligent AF. Be diligent. All you gotta do, get on there, put a creative little hello in there, compliment them, lock the date down. Boom, boom, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. You got it done.
I've heard once someone refer to a dating app, I think Dr. Helen Fisher, she calls them introductory apps. And I think that's such a great mentality to have. It's a great way to meet people outside of your bubble, a great way to find people who share similar interests with you, meet somewhere safe, and you're amazing. We think you're great, and other people will as well.
Side note, didn't mention this earlier, but any favorite books or podcasts that you like, put them in the profile. If you like status post adulting and you want people to know that you're ready to put down the rulebook and rethink the status quo, you put that in your profile, okay? Because some people are just resonating with that message.
Boom.
And they want to see that you like it too. And if you want some advice, please don't hesitate to message us.
You can send us a direct message. Isn't that right, Sammie? At Status Post Adulting on Instagram. Email us statuspostadulting@gmail.com. Find our show notes in your podcast platform or on our website, statuspostadulting.com. We're on TikTok now, people. We got 1, maybe 2 TikTok. Check it out at Status Post Adulting.
Exactly, Michelle. But most importantly, be sure to join us next time as we put down the rulebook and rethink the status quo.